Hello there, everyone. This is Old Tom Jin rejoining my playthrough of Fallout 4 Survival Mode, my permadeath run. So I know that I had said last time that we were going to take a look at Starlight Drive-In, sitting right back there. But as it happened, something happened that I've never experienced in a playthrough before. Well, related to the fact that I'm broadcasting it, I ran out of time. I ran out of time to do the build properly. And actually, that's not the only reason. There are two things that happened. One was that, where I just ran out of time. But the reason I ran out of time, and kind of made me stop and think for a second, was I actually, in the time between when I was in Ten Pines Bluff, which of course is where we left our playthrough last, and getting to the Starlight Drive-In, I encountered a couple of super mutants, quite unexpectedly. They weren't a threat. They weren't much of a threat. I took them out pretty handily, but it wasn't. I didn't think to put it on to activate the stream at that point, just for a little bitty encounter. And that got me to thinking. I wouldn't want some kind of important events or some major events to go hold on a second, Carla. To go unrecorded here. So I wanted to make sure that, hey, I got to make a new rule here. And my rule, hold on a second,
Hey
Carla.
there.
I did want to trade with you. Do you
Ready?
mind? I'm talking to the people. Yes, fine. Let's barter.
Here's what I got.
So the rule I made for myself was, from now on out, if I'm going to be showing off a settlement or something like that, I'm going to try to do it immediately after or before the session when I'm kind of in the same place. So what I mean by that is basically, if I end up this session, for instance, at I don't know, Sunshine Co-op, then I will make sure that I'll log back in Sunshine Tidings Co-op after I've done my build, so I can show that off. Or if I start it, somewhere. I'll make sure that, hey, I'm going to end up somewhere else where I can show you the build that I did. But I'm going to try not to do too much traveling in hazardous areas in between sessions, because I don't know, things could happen. I certainly don't want things to happen, but it could happen. I don't really need turpentine, and I don't want basically any significant events to transpire in between when I log off and when I log in, and certainly not as a result of me kind of just
Just let me know.
traveling between settlements so I can show you the builds. So I just want to make sure that that's, and I realize, okay, fine, it's my playthrough, I do what I want, but I just want to make sure that I'm recording what's actually happening to Thomas here out in the world, and if he's in any kind of threat area, that's part of the stream. If we're safe in a settlement, we're hanging out, we're taking a rest, then that's where we'll stop it. And especially as we enter into this new phase of the game where I'm going to be building a lot of settlements, I want to make sure that I have some time to show them off, but not showing them off in a way that's going to require me to do a lot of traveling off camera that could put the character in danger. And then, well, I mean, worst comes to worst, I certainly don't want him to get shot, stabbed, exploded, etc. off camera. I don't want him to get shot, stabbed, exploded at all because of my permadeath run. But the whole point, of course, is I want to make sure that the whole story is here. That's the point of streaming this whole thing. So we're gonna just take a little bit of extra care to make sure I'm coordinating these activities in such a way that what you see is what you get, as they say. So here we go to our, what I like to call the Mole Rat Shrine. It's not a shrine to mole rats, it's a shrine by mole rats. And the reason I say that, if I haven't mentioned it before, is that unless you take if you go in there and you take the fusion cores that are stored down there, that the old gas station attendees were dumping there surreptitiously 200 years ago, if you take them out, that stuff stops replenishing. As long as you leave it be, those gas cans and everything, the new ones will keep popping up. Keeps popping up, every hour or so. So what I like to my head canon is that those mole rats have been the radiation has affected their brains. They've gotten semi-intelligent, and they have started a small shrine to the powerful two-legged creatures who live on the surface world, and they provide offerings in return for their peaceful coexistence. And that's my headcanon, and I'm sticking to it. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna leave those mole rats alone, at least until unless I get really desperate for fusion cores in the future, which we may. I don't know. We'll see. And look, here's Preston over here. Let's go visit Preston as he comes up here. Oh, you know what? Actually, I don't want to make a mistake. I've been through this routine before. I need to offload some stuff, because you know what's going to happen? Preston's going to give me some stuff. And I don't want him to give me some stuff and then be part of a long conversation where I am gradually more and more burdened and slowly being injured. I can't do anything about it. We don't want that to happen. So, although unfortunately there's not a lot I can actually offload here. Oh, I'm sure I can offload my bottles here. That's fine. I don't honestly know how much the old flare gun weighs. Hopefully it doesn't weigh more than 8 pounds or 9 pounds or so. Hey, you know that settlement you sent me to help? They've decided to join the Minutemen.
That's great news. I knew you were the right person for the job. By the way, you should have one of these flare guns. You can use it to signal for help from any nearby Minutemen. It'll get more and more useful as we get more allied settlements. Eventually, you'll have help wherever you need it. I don't think I ever told you what happened to the Minutemen. How I ended up as the last one.
You're really the last Minuteman?
Maybe not literally. There must be a lot of former Minutemen out there who gave it up in disgust after the Quincy massacre. But we were the last active group of Minutemen. And now, well, it's just me.
What was the Quincy massacre?
I thought everyone in the Commonwealth knew about that by now. I was with Colonel Hollis's group. A mercenary group called the Gunners was attacking Quincy. The people there called for the Minutemen to help. We were the only ones that came. The other groups, they just turned their backs on us and the folks in Quincy. Only a few of us got out alive. Colonel Hollis was dead, so I ended up in charge of the survivors. We never found a safe place to settle. One disaster after another. You saw how it ended in Concord?
As long as you don't give up, the Minutemen will survive.
I'm not about to give up, but I can't protect the Commonwealth all by myself. Hell, I could barely protect these people. That's why I'm talking to you. I can't rebuild the Minutemen, but I think you can.
What about you? Why can't you lead the Minutemen?
That's not who I am. I can get my men through a firefight. I can defend a perimeter against all odds. But that's not going to be enough to bring the Minutemen back from the brink. We need someone who can bring the whole Commonwealth together in a common cause. And I think you've got it in you to be that leader.
I've already followed you through hell and high water, and I'd like to think I have more sense than most.
That's up for debate. But why me?
You saved us in Concord. There wasn't anything in it for you. You had your own problems to deal with, but you did it anyway. That kind of selflessness has been in mighty short supply around here for quite a while.
Can you explain what the Minutemen are all about?
We're citizen soldiers. The people of the Commonwealth banding together to protect ourselves and decide our own future. That was the original idea, and it was a good one. The Minutemen fell apart because our leaders forgot what we were supposed to stand for. I think you're the one who can bring the Minutemen back and bring the whole Commonwealth together.
Okay, I'll do it.
It's gonna be a lot of responsibility, but I know you'll make this place better.
Good. Good. Welcome aboard. I feel like this is a whole new start for the Minutemen, and the Commonwealth too. Don't worry, I'll be right beside you all the way, General.
It's quite a promotion you just gave me.
The leader of the Minutemen has always held the rank of General. Our last leader was General Becker. After he died back in '82, Nobody could agree on who should take his place. The one good thing about being the last Minuteman is there's no one to argue with me when I say you're the new general. Now it's your job to make it more than an empty title. I've got something a bit different for you.
Awkward pause. You did say you had something, Preston. I'm waiting. Just tell me. Just please, Preston, tell me something, please. This is actually the longest pause in Preston's dialogue I've ever seen. It's very painful. It's just getting more awkward the longer we go. Oh dear. Oh dear.
Our scouts have found a promising spot for a new settlement. Once you clear it out, set up a radio beacon to let settlers know about it. Before you know it, we'll have a thriving new farm instead of wasteland. We'll take back the Commonwealth, one piece at a time.
Ow. Are you sure?
You're not an idiot.
You finally noticed.
No, I didn't mean like... I could just use some help. This isn't the sort of thing I'd normally bother anyone else with, but you just seem really good with people, and I've got this issue with my sister, Nat, becoming me.
Becoming you? What do you mean?
I'm just terrified she's gonna start taking up like her big sis. I mean, think about the life we lead. No offense intended, Blue, but personal safety doesn't exactly seem like either of our strong suits. I can't have her ending up like her big sister, dodging bullets and running from all the people she pisses off. It's part of the reason I'm on the road so much. Part of the reason I'm here with you. I keep thinking, maybe if I make myself scarce, if I'm not around her enough, she'll cool off. She'll just go back to being sweet, innocent Nat, paper girl, an all-around upstanding citizen. What do I do, Blue?
First of all, did you notice how Preston decided at some point that this was a personal conversation and you just kind of subtly walked away? Let's set that aside for the moment and just give her some good advice here. You just love her. Family's precious. The last thing you want to do is drive them away because you might lose them forever.
You're right. I can't risk that. Thanks, Blue. Who'd expect wandering off with a stranger to turn out this well? You really don't make them like you anymore. You're a hell of a friend, you know that?
The feeling's mutual, Piper.
Ain't that the truth? But hey, thanks again for listening. It's a real weight off my chest to be able to talk it out with someone. So, you wanna hit the road?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do indeed. So there we are. We're now the general of the Minutemen. And you know, honestly, after seeing that Preston has maybe a little problem with awkward pauses in the middle of the conversation, I know nobody talks about it, but it was clearly happening. I mean, I saw it, you saw it, we all saw it, Piper, right? I can see why he might not be the best guy to be the leader. That would be very awkward in giving orders to the troops. But so be it. So be it. We are now the general. We're now the general of the Minutemen. I don't often hire
I was a little jealous of folks who could craft
Preston.
something
Oh, it looks like I had already cooked my food. I guess I don't have any spare food. I really need to do some hunting at some point because old Thomas is running a little bit low on food. But let's fill up on our water at least. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, that's right. Piper has our our stuff here. So let's do that. Handle that real quick. Hey, pipes. Let's grab a couple things from you, bud. Yeah, all that stuff. But yeah, as you can see, oh, didn't mean to take away Piper's trademark red trench coat. She's going to want that back. Piper, again, has a tendency to have those personal conversations right after something happens that gets her to like you more, gets her affinity, and those things tend to happen, you know, not always at the most opportune times to have that conversation. So when you travel with Piper, just keep in mind that you are traveling with someone who is likely to want to have a personal heart-to-heart right after you've had a conversation with someone else, or right after you've done something very dangerous or left a very dangerous building, having completed a dangerous quest, things of that nature. So you gotta watch out for that stuff. Having said that, you know, I think we gave her pretty good advice there. Still pretty weighed down here. I think we're gonna have to go dump a few things off. By the way, very rarely do I carry the flare gun. I'm not going to carry it right now because to me it seems a little odd to say at this point in the Minutemen that, hey, I'm going to have this flare gun on me and summon Minutemen, because for who? Like, we have 2 settlements allied to us. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. So I don't think we're going to do that. What I am going to do is definitely equip that that champion left arm as soon as we get rid of some of this other stuff here. Oh, I actually should unload some of... There's a carrot in there, and I don't want to really need to carry a carrot. So we're going to put the carrot in here. What else do we have? I think I need... Well, let's see. So I have the champion left arm, which means I can put away the shadowed leather left arm, or give it to Piper. Actually, I could give it to Piper. Probably do her some. Oh, that's right. That doesn't really. By the way, my understanding is that the mods on the armor do not help the companions. So if someone disagrees with me on that one, I would love to hear your take on it. But that's my understanding. And I know that polished metal is more protection than shadowed metal, but I want the stealth benefit. I really I need every possible stealth advantage that I can get. I think we'll just do a little army paint on there. Of course, it means it's shadowed, but it's green. That's okay though. So there we go. That takes my.
These are harder than others, but even the hard days get easier than the one before.
I know, buddy. I know. But yeah, so that's our. Now we're wearing 2 metal armor pieces on our person, and that's actually pretty. It's funny. It's very unobtrusive because it's on your Pip-Boy arm. You really don't see the forearm. All you see is that elbow piece with the spikes on it.
What's up?
Which, to be honest, I wouldn't... Oh, by the way, something I somehow missed until literally just this playthrough. Preston Garvey, well, I knew, obviously, Garvey was based on Marcus Garvey. But it did not occur to me, I swear to God, and I feel like a dunce not knowing this, until just this very playthrough. Preston and Sturgis. Preston Sturgis. I don't know how I missed that until just now. Just the other day when I was doing a write-up on the videos I was posting to YouTube. I said, oh, that's what it was. That's just, I find that deeply hilarious. Partially I find my own inability to notice that until now hilarious. But yeah, that was a fun little... One of the ways in which this game, just again, still surprises me. So we're going to take a rest overnight, and then we're going to head off. And there's the other matter I wanted to discuss. I can't say I'm entirely thrilled with the news of where Preston wants to send me. Outpost Zamanja. Outpost Zamanja's dangerous. Outpost Zamanja has a...
Trading?
Yeah, Carla, I know I traded with you already, but I'm going to trade with you again. I want to see what you've got, bub. I could have sworn I saw something else that I wanted in here. No, I guess I was wrong. Yeah, I guess I was wrong. Okay. Fair enough. Okay. But yeah, Outpost Zamanja has, among other things, tends to have a raider or two with power armor. Well, one raider with power armor. And at least one raider with, sometimes another raider with a missile launcher. So, that's super dangerous for me. Super dangerous. So Preston may have just sent me to my death. The new general. Also, can we comment on this other little oddity of the game? In what military exactly? Do you name someone a general and then send that person out to do the missions? I don't think it works like that. I really don't think it works like that. And that's not to say that I'm not going to be doing some of these. I do have, I do need the experience from, that you get the benefit of doing those quests. But at the same time, probably I want to make sure that I'm not. I want to make sure I'm not hanging around Preston idly when I'm here in Sanctuary. In fact, I may limit my time in Sanctuary from now here on out to make sure that Preston does not give me quests that I don't need. I think eventually I may move Preston and Sturgis over to the Red Rocket, because I kind of see the Red Rocket as sort of the forward fire base of Sanctuary. Sanctuary is where we're going to build up a larger population. We're going to hopefully, build up some stores eventually, some nightlife, some big farming capacity. Sanctuary is one of the, I always think, should be one of the biggest settlements in the Minuteman network. One of the bigger settlements in the Commonwealth. But Red Rocket becomes sort of like that. That becomes sort of in my mind, sort of the tech center of the Minutemen. And why? Of course, well, for one thing, because that's where Sturgis is. So, of course, what we cannot forget is we want to level up right here. And we need to look very carefully at what we are going to do on our level up. So, we can do more damage with riflemen. That is an option. Do we need to do that? I have thus far been able to one-shot just about everything that I've been after. So I'm not as worried about that. What I am trying to do at this point, and I think is rather important. I don't think I'm going to need local leader very, very shortly, because I need to establish supply lines between my settlements. The reason I'm not going to take local leader right now is that I don't have enough people to run those supply lines. This is actually why I was kind of hoping to get the Starlight Drive-In kicked off a little bit earlier, because if the earlier you can get Starlight kicked off, the earlier it builds up a population. You can use it as one of those sort of anchor points, those anchor settlements to sort of send supply provisioners to other places. But we're not going to do that right now because we just don't have the populace. I have enough people to here in Sanctuary. I could probably link up maybe 3 or 4 settlements, but that would, again, that wouldn't include, probably wouldn't be enough to include Starlight. And more to the point, I can sit on it for a while, and what I should really be doing is taking things that are going to allow me to survive long enough to create these things. So right here, like Rifleman, if we take the Rifleman, we do 60% more damage. We ignore 20% of the target's armor. Now, interestingly, little tidbit for those who don't know, this only applies to ballistic damage. That's fine with me. I've got a ballistic weapon, but if I'm about to be facing a guy in power armor, that could be key. That could be very, very important. So I think that's what we're going to go for. And I hope we made the right decision. So now let's select that new location. So clear Outpost Zamanja. this actually will give us an opportunity to, just as I was discussing, there's another new guy. Boy, they're just, you know, by the time I get back,
The last time I saw the sunrise.
yeah, it totally looks pretty. Maybe we'll have enough people by the time I'm done with this and building up Starlight. We might have built up enough people to start doing a trade route or two. Of course, there you see the Vault Tech Workshop DLC, and there goes. I'm level 20 now, folks, and that's how we know. There goes the Zayden attack craft, or scout craft probably. Crashed down there in the city, or very near the city. So it's just east of Weston. What's that, Piper? Not a word about the crashed spacecraft? Usually my companions always have a word or two to say about that. It's a pretty good view of it, too. Very often I miss it. I miss it completely. Maybe she didn't see it. It's a UFO, man. I didn't see anything. So back on the road we go, but yeah, maybe we will have enough people by the end of this process. Again, assuming that I don't die from taking Outpost Zamanja, and if it sounds like I'm overly cautious and concerned about this place, I have had, I can't remember how many, the exact count of permadeath playthroughs I've attempted, but I can tell you that 2 of those permadeath playthroughs have ended in or around Outpost Zamanja. There's a couple factors for that, and I think I've already mentioned most of them. There's at least one person in power armor who's often very resistant to my abilities and my damage. There is very often 1 or 2 of them who have missile launchers in that area. There is, besides that, a number of raiders who have grenades. And again, now I have just, as I think I was mentioning last time, I have now crossed the threshold to level 20. So we will now see more and more raiders, more and more enemies in general, using frag grenades. Not Molotovs, frag grenades. Now, some people have argued that frags are actually not as bad as Molotovs because they at least have a ticker. They give, if you're very, very quick on your Pip-Boy and you have some jet or some other means of getting away very quickly, you can escape their range. I believe that's possible. I have never been particularly good at doing that myself. So, you know, be that as it may, I accept that as a possibility, whereas Molotovs just do a ton of damage immediately, which really is not, as some people have remarked, is not how Molotov cocktails should work. But anyway, they're both equally deadly to me. They both killed me in the past. It's concerning. It is concerning to me. So I'm just going to have to be... I'm really going to have to observe this place and be very, very careful how I approach it. And, I mean, my general strategy for this is to try and hit these guys, observe them very carefully, make sure I've mapped out everybody who's there, make sure I know exactly who they are and what they've got, and snipe them from a distance and really make sure that I have cover nearby that I can retreat behind something substantial. Make sure I have an escape route, that I know where I'm going. And also there's another complexity with Zamanja, in that there is a second little raider hovel sitting just down the dirt road from Zamanja, just in like kind of a little gully / dirt road area. And there's a guy down there who's kind of dug in, if you will, with his own turret and his own defenses. There's that iBot, probably advertising Cambridge Polymer Labs. So yeah, so that is of concern to me as well. That can He can sometimes, in fact, on more than one occasion, I have forgotten about him. Hey, a basketball. I have...
Toys just for digging holes. Doesn't look a day past 199.
I have forgotten about him, or not, not realized he was going to be aware. And of course, with the mods I'm using, he'll almost certainly be aware of what's going on, and will probably stop by for a visit, maybe in the midst of that combat. So I have to be very careful. Ideally, I should probably take him out first. I'm kind of thinking as I'm walking here, but I think I should probably take him out first. And of course, just to consult the map here. Oh, and by the way, I think, unless I've got that wrong, I think that the day before this was Thanksgiving. So when I took out the, I probably spent Thanksgiving at 10 Pines Bluff. Isn't that a nice thought? Speaking of 10 Pines Bluff, I want to just mark them on my map here, just so we have a reference. We know where they are in relation to Zamanja, because I'm almost certainly going to stop there on the way. Probably do a quick rest and save, just to make sure I'm not going to lose any progress due to any kind of weird old glitch, as the, of course, the game is want to do. I know I've been here before, but and I know I left that guy's clothes before, but I decided, I'm like, hey, wait a minute, green combat boots, and I can actually use that someday. I have a use for that. You might wonder, like, what in the world use do you have for that? I have designs on it. We shall see. But yeah, I do want to make a stop off there. This again allowed the other good part about that is I had recorded a little short separate video, but I would much prefer to kind of neatly show you what I've done over there in this video. A little bit smoother. Get everything done quite efficiently here. Don't think there's anybody around. And approaching it from this direction, you can also see the defenses. Now this direction is one of the, I would think, the more vulnerable areas. I know that I've seen raiders attack from this direction here before. And you're starting to see, of course, as many of you are probably very well aware, my opinion, that the best way to defend a settlement is automated turrets, and the best way to plant automated turrets is to put them up high. Like anything that is basically a melee attacker.
You've gotta help. My sister's been kidnapped.
Oh no. It's okay, you just need to tell me what happened.
They said they'd be back for the ransom in a few days. If I don't pay up, they'll kill her. But I don't have that kind of money.
Do you know where they took her?
I'll mark it on your map.
Don't worry, I'll get her back.
Thank you. Thank you. I didn't know what I was gonna do. Just bring her back safe, okay?
Oh boy. Okay. So, by coming here, my life has just gotten more complicated. Just gotten much more complicated. Because kidnap Radiant quests have a time limit on them. I have to get her back, or they'll kill her. So, I think that there's... Well, no, actually no. I can't take that risk. I don't know how long it's going to take me to take out Zamanja, and I don't think I can take the risk. Let me think about this. Let me think very carefully. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I can take the risk of going to Zamanja first, because Zamanja, there's no ticking time clock on it. The kidnapping there is. Wow. The game has decided to really push it on. Like, that's really made my life a lot more complicated and dangerous. All right, well, let's set that aside for a moment. We'll just take a look at this. So what have I done? I took their old shack, which I always felt terrible about these people sleeping in this shack, and I just put I made that sort of my, either the place where I can sleep when I'm laying over here, or more importantly, where a provisioner can sleep, even though the provisioners never actually spent any time sleeping as far as I can tell. But they could, if they wanted to. So if I attach them to this settlement, they can sleep here and just kind of hang out. So that's where they will be. I might even put a second, maybe a sleeping bag or something like that in there. Don't need to be snooty about it, of course, but I am the only character in the game who needs a bed to sleep, apparently, which is why I gave the bed to me. I moved all their stuff over here. It's generally, I think, safer. Sometimes you get some raiders who come over this crest here, but then again, I've got automated turrets, and as you can see, I've built them a doghouse because I have anticipation, hopes that if I survive tonight and the next few nights to come, I will be able to buy them a dog from Gene, the dog trainer, who I'm sure I'll run into sooner or later. But generally, just a bigger place here, a little more room, a little bathtub outside to do a little washing in. I always take advantage of this when I can, of this little crude wooden ramp, because you can't get rid of it, and it kind of looks weird when it's just sitting out there once you scrap the house. So I wanted to kind of put something here, and so I had them just build another place, just a little bit more elevated. And what I like about this is that it's kind of it's not fancy. Obviously I haven't built like a super interior here. They're simple farmers. I mean, I'm not going to change my expectations of who they are or what their farm is like. Pardon me, I'll take a quick drink there. But, just this is kind of my vision of what they have here. They have a mix of stuff. Maybe at some point one of them dug up a nice chest of drawers that was just buried under the ground or in an underground basement somewhere in a cellar of a ruined house, and it was preserved. And they got it out and said, hey, we got a beautiful dresser. So incongruently to the rest of their little cottage here, they have a pretty nice dresser, and they have a radio, and maybe they pulled this airplane seat out of the wreckage of the airplane that's down the hill a ways. And then here where Piper is sitting, I kind of like this. My internal story is that this is like an heirloom. This is like something that has been in their family for, at this point, literally hundreds of years. And their family has somehow, through the apocalypse, through it all, they have held on to this thing. Their family has stubbornly held on to this piece of furniture. It meant something to them far in the back, generations past. And it's looking pretty rough, but damn it, they're holding on to it. It's super antique. And maybe this is too. And they just sit here and just look at this, probably with something that was painted in a mall. But it means a lot to them, and they're just that's their prized possession. They sit here and sit on their great grandmother's couch and contemplate this painting, together. And sister, by the way, brother and sister, which I did not, I never picked up on that one somehow before. So I'm going to take a quick drink here. But yeah, as I said, that complicates things. Now I've got to deal with the Medford Hospital, and of course the Medford Hospital is even worse. It's super mutant territory. The game may have just signed my death warrant, folks. I don't know. I'm very concerned. I'm very concerned about that. Oh boy. So we're gonna. Thomas is going to take a quick rest here, and then I'm going to take a quick break. At this point, we're going to consider our options for a few minutes. How do we want to do this? How do we want to tackle this problem? I mean, no sooner are you named the General of the Minutemen than you're tasked with two very difficult missions. I know Piper has confidence in me. I know Preston has confidence in me. I just don't know if I can do this. This is a lot. This is tough. This is going to be very tough. Well, let's see if we can pull it off. Well, this is Old Tom Gin. This is my continuing permadeath playthrough of Fallout 4 on survival mode. And things just got a lot more complicated. I'll see you on the other end of the break, folks. Alright folks, we are back. This is Old Tom Gin, and this is my continuing playthrough of Fallout 4 Survival Mode, my Permadeath run. And if you're just joining us, things have just gotten very complicated for the brand new General of the Minutemen. Thomas has been, he was first tasked by his sergeant, or lieutenant, or whatever Preston is, which again, as I've commented, is not usually the way the chain of command works. But okay, whatever. But he was charged by Preston with clearing out Outpost Zamanja, which, if we look at our map, is not too far away from here. It's actually northeast of this location. And we thought, well, what we're going to do is we'll stop by 10 Pines Bluff, and we'll rest up there, and then we'll head over to Outpost Zamanja. And I was concerned about it. I was already very concerned about it because it's a tough location. It typically has raiders in power armor. It very often has raiders using missile launchers, or maybe even Fat Men. I don't know. I don't know what the rules work. Heavy weapons, let's put it that way. And it's killed me before. It's been a difficult outpost. And then I get there, partially because I wanted to show off the build of 10 Pines Bluff that I did last night, and I find out that the sister has been kidnapped and has been taken to Medford Memorial Hospital. Medford Memorial Hospital is populated by super mutants. And if anything, facing super mutants inside a closed location is even more dangerous than what I've already been tasked with doing. I feel like the game's trying to kill me. I mean, I guess that makes sense. Of course the game's trying to kill me. That's the point of the game, right? But yeah, I mean, just especially so. Vindictively so. I've made some good progress here on this run. I've survived Deathclaws. I've survived Kellogg. I've survived sucker punches from glowing mole rats. Survived getting shot by synths. Survived a lot of stuff here. I don't know if I'm going to survive this.
Anything I can do? You just say the word.
And I just have to very, very carefully consider how I'm going to approach this. I'll tell you what I'm not going to do. I'm not going to go over there because I do believe it's either a raider center or a gunner. The gunners love, as a mercenary group, they love to set up on these outposts, on these overpasses. The broken sections of overpass, they love setting up there. And of course, why wouldn't you? It makes a lot of sense. Alright, something's detecting me. I don't like that at all. That may be the gunners, actually. One of the small advantages, and that's actually, I think that actually, is my map right? Oh yeah, I'm actually, yeah, Zamanja's right over there. It's very easy to get turned around up here. I kind of always think that Zamanja's like down here, but it's actually up here. I always get the angles turned around because I forget which way the highway turns up here. But I don't want to go there right now. But as I was saying, one of the small advantages, very minor, of the enhanced AI is that the modders made some changes to the way the gunners behave. It's not perfect, but it does. What is that? Okay, so that's an alert spotlight. Okay, but in general, now watch them take a pot shot at me and prove me wrong. It makes the gunners a little bit less hostile. At least not as hostile as raiders. They don't act like raiders so much anymore. They act a lot more like scavengers, where basically if you present a juicy target, they will attack you. But by and large, they will ignore you. Unless you encroach in their territory. Now, of course, this was the inspiration for giving the settlers at 10 Pines Bluff an airline seat, because here is the crash of this Skylanes airliner. And I don't know if I want to go in here, because this again is someplace that I don't often go in here because I think I had some bad encounters here early on, and I always kind of look at it like, eh. There is actually a there's a quest that's associated with this, where this fairly unsavory individual. There you go. Skyline's Flight 1981. That's right. It's the crash. Skyline's Flight 1981. As I recall, I've gotten into some. Yeah, there's Absalom. Yeah, so he's. I don't want to mess with that guy. He's wearing combat armor, for God's sakes. Get away from that guy. I don't need to mess with him. Nothing to do with it. One thing I don't need right now is extra threats. Stay away from the guy. But yeah, there's a slightly scruffy scavenger. Well, aren't all scavengers scruffy? Generally speaking. That she makes you an offer for like something ridiculous, like 10 caps or something ridiculous. Like, come help me, take out this these guys that to take the scrap from this wreckage. And you can barter with her and get a charisma check and get more money, but she's definitely not to be trusted. And he definitely doesn't tell you how tough it is. This, by the way, is the dirt road that I mentioned that leads to Outpost Samanja, and we're not going to take it right now because I have some other things to deal with here. All right, and so we're not going to mess with this either. So this is presumably where Codsworth was purchased, but we're not going to do it. Those of you who love General Atomics Galleria, more power to you. I don't like the place. I think that the threat level of it is way, way out of profile for the benefit of doing it. Which, again, I guess if you're not doing a... if you weren't doing a survival playthrough or a permadeath playthrough, you might look at it differently. I just want to make sure while this guy's talking to me, I'm not going to get snuck up on.
Growing up, I thought shopping carts were baby cages. Let me tell you, my little sister did not appreciate the mix-up.
So here's this guy, kind of hovering around there. I wonder if we can avoid him talking to me. Usually he kind of rushes out to talk to me. I'm going to... Yeah, I don't want to mess with that guy. Oh, and look, a frag mine. Yeah, that's also, by the way, if you're not careful, if you don't have your immunity to such things, that's an instant kill. Very hard to see that thing, and of course it blows up right next to a car, which then blows up the car. In fact, this whole area I'm going into right now is more dangerous than any area I've been in so far in the game. It's not the most dangerous. I believe I hear a Mirelurk somewhere around here. We're going to just sneak over here to the edge. See what we see. There are Mirelurks in the area, guaranteed. There's somebody out there. It looks like a raider, but I'm not going to mess with him if they don't mess with me. I don't remember that guy at all. Huh. I seem to think that... I feel like that guy's always dead by the time I get there. Yeah, but there's a... I mean, don't get me wrong. The Galleria is funny, but it's funny in that sort of classic Fallout, like... Here is haha, a funny joke, and by the way, there's also a really tough fight that you have to do in the process. Now, over on the other side of this is the Medford Medical Center. Within are super mutants galore. It's a very tough fight. It's a very tough fight. Even getting there is tough. Because, pardon me, Piper, I can go the eastern shore along this pond here. Pond/lake. There's a chance I might run into some Mirelurk kin. A Mirelurk king, perhaps, which would be really bad because that's... I could take out a Mirelurk king, I'm pretty sure, with my new rifleman score here. Beyond that, there's some synths, I believe, who fight with the super mutants. But this is a very tangled little environment, and I'm a little cautious of approaching it from that direction. I think I'm better off approaching it from shore. I'm not 100% certain, but I'm pretty sure that's the better way to go. I think that's what we're gonna do. So yeah, this is a. I mean, I knew I was gonna. I always was gonna settle Outpost Zamanja, of course. I knew that was going to be dangerous. I didn't expect to do it or get assigned it quite this soon. And this maybe again is a good reason to kind of. Maybe we should find something for Preston to do for the time being. You know, of course, it's probably the most well documented commentary on Fallout 4 is the fact that many of us find it somewhat annoying that Preston insists on giving out Radiant quests basically every time you talk to him. I don't remember what the rate is. I never did look up. I'm sure people have dug into how he does it or why he does it or at what rate he does it. I don't know what the rate is, but it has to be just crazy. Yeah, there we go. I think that's that raider or scavenger or whatever he is. Oh. Back off. I don't want to be anywhere near wherever this is. I suspect it is Raider versus, or Scavenger versus Mirelurks. Yeah, I don't want to tangle with that. And I think I just found out why I never meet the guy, because... Oh, there we go. Mirelurk Hunter. Pardon me. Yeah, not a king. A Mirelurk Hunter. And I can only assume, because there's no more gunfire going off, that Mirelurk Hunter just took that guy out. Shit, I missed him. Yeah, he's gonna go underwater. Oh, and you hear that? That's a mongrel dog. So yeah, this particular area, it's not the most dangerous area by critter. It's dangerous because there's so many critters that are packed in. There's definitely some mid-level critters like that Mirelurk Hunter, who are formidable. But what I have always found a little bit challenging here is that it's not you get tangled up in one combat, and then before you know it, something else is on you. It's very easy to kind of just get into a gauntlet and you just get run ragged here. Where is that guy? If he's not taken out, I'm probably going to take him out myself. I don't know what this is supposed to be, and maybe I don't want to know. Oh yeah, I think he bit the bullet. Yeah, there he is. And that is why I never meet that guy. He gets killed every time. From the look of it, he doesn't have anything that's particularly worth taking. But yeah, that Mirelurk Hunter... Boy, this... Should I even be in here? Look at this, almost looks like it's electrical. I don't think I want to get in there. Probably being paranoid, but... This game is just goofy. It's just like, hey, here's a death trap just for fun. Same thing with the General Atomics Galleria. It's like, this is hilarious, and now there's a combat. Lethal humor. You know, I mean, there are a couple of interactions in there with Mr. Gutsies or Mr. Handies that just, they're like, you know, would you like to take, like a, I don't even remember what they are, to be honest, but I know that I'm pretty sure there's a Mr. Gutsy who challenges you to a fight. I'm pretty sure that there's a Mr. Handy whose definition of a haircut is to, like, chop your head off. There's just, like, all these malfunctioning robots. And then there's, like, the central core. I think I've only ever done it once, just because I did it and I just kept be like, oh, this is funny, and then something would kill me, and then I do the next one and something would kill me again. I'm like, what is the point of this place? And I thought, oh, there must be some kind of really great boon by going through this. There wasn't. There's really, it's really just there to just kind of like, ha ha ha, you die many times and now there's nothing. So, ha ha ha, but I'm done. Legendary Rad Scorpion. Son of a bitch. And here I am out in the open. And he's dead. Best way to deal with Rad Scorpions? Kill them immediately. Especially when you're not in cover. That's what was really concerning about that right now. Or just right then. Oh, and here were those dogs. I think that Rad Scorpion took out those dogs for me. Well, thanks, guy.
Just going to waste otherwise.
But this is what I'm talking about this place being packed. You know, a raider down there, a Mirelurk hunter, a giant Rad Scorpion, all virtually on top of one another. Martyr's Metal Chest Piece temporarily slows time during combat when you're at 20% or less health. Holy smoke. Wow. Wow. Talk about something that makes you want to turn around and go upgrade it. I mean, let's do a quick little check here, just so I see. I am unfortunately almost at the limit of my carrying capacity. In fact, I'm going to have to offload some stuff to Piper here. We're now at that point, though, in the game where I keep picking up stuff and I keep upgrading them and they get a little bit heavier and I'm like, I kind of need that and I kind of need that. See, I've got this Wastelander's chest piece. Which is giving me that plus to agility and perception, which is pretty damn nice, which of course is the basis of my VATS build. But that Martyr's chest piece is awful nice. At the very least, what I think I've got to do...
Looking for something specific?
I think I'm going to have to give Piper the shotgun. I'm not going to ask her to use it right away. But in this environment with these super mutants... Well, probably when she goes inside, I will ask her to use it right away. In this environment with these super mutants, I am going to need some heavy firepower, and her little pop gun is not going to cut it. I need her. I'm going to need her to be able to take some stuff down. And I know, given my previous comments about companions and their limitations, I hear what I'm saying, and I know that that's a wee bit contradictory from my previous statements, or at least kind of, if not contradictory, then just problematic. Just like, didn't you say that companions were next to useless not too long ago? I did. And look, I'm in caution. Probably from that super mutant out in front of the building. I hope from that super mutant out in front of the building, because I really don't want to be... There we go. There's also, I think, a sentry bot up here, but again, he doesn't... unless I'm misremembering, I don't think he's near that that little trailer up there. But unless I'm misremembering, I don't think he attacks unless I get close. What I want to do is get the stone to my back, so I don't have to worry about that so much, so I can at least peer through here. Yeah, see, there's a guy right there, and there's a suicider. Oh, three of them out front, including a suicider. Ah, and there we go. As predicted, there is the attack from the synths. Granted, a little bit of meta-knowledge, but, you know, screw it. I'll take it. I will take it. I think that Suicider's about to do something. Nice hop, Piper. Wow, I haven't heard a, I haven't seen an there we go. The Suicider just did his thing. Now, of course, what does this mean? This means that I now have to take care of some synths instead of taking care of some super mutants out front of the building. Don't worry, there's plenty more super mutants inside the building for me to worry about. We're also, ironically enough, getting quite close to another settlement site down in this direction, which is the Taffington Boathouse, which I did not expect to be visiting tonight. But we might. We might. I'm here anyway. Again, depends on whether I bite the bullet here. So if you're wondering who wins in a battle between super mutants and synths, synths win. And of course that area is completely infested with blood bugs. I'm not particularly worried about them right now. Piper, there you go again. Oh, please give us the mod that allows companions to not point their guns at us. Just really, is that so much to ask? So after a brief hydration break here, I'm going to, for me, not for Thomas, I'm going to, I think, move around this way so I can get a better bead on where those synths might be, because I don't dare approach that front door. Of course, I may get screwed with by these blood bugs. I might need to take out this blood bug, at least. Oh yeah, there's two of them actually. Come on, here you are.
Something's out there.
I know. Oh, there's another one. Oh, another one right next to me. There's old girl, which means there's a trader nearby, which is good.
Hey, they're here. Wish it hadn't come to that.
All right. A lot of blood bugs dead. Needed to happen. Needed to happen. Of course, that's part of the story of Taffington Boathouse has to do with these bugs and this infestation of bugs. As anyone who's lived in New England will tell you, a story about mosquitoes destroying people is close, near and dear to their heart. Of course, they have no giant mosquitoes, at least not by these standards. But yeah, it's like, oh, mosquitoes, man. They ate me alive. Anybody who's lived in, you know, Massachusetts, New England was like, yeah, that sounds about right. Okay. You know, the funny part is that it took me so long to get here that I'm almost thinking that I want to... Old girl's marching to her death if she gets attacked by those synths. I'm almost thinking that I need to take a short rest. I might want to take over the Taffington Boathouse right now, because I am so unless there is a place I can rest here. Does this have a sleeping bag? Because I don't believe I have one. Again, very foolishly, I keep forgetting to craft these things. I keep forgetting exactly how buggy this game is and how it can really quit on me at a moment's notice. I think there's something here. Let me see. What's in here? Right away, Rad-X, pretty standard stuff. Stew pot. Bobby pin. Well, look, a dirty mattress, which I typically avoid like the plague, but oh, interesting. It is a non-sleepable. Oh, wait a minute. No, it is. Isn't it? No, I can. No, it's a non-sleepable mattress. Very rare. Very unusual. So yeah, I think for this is just this is really turning out to be the night of kind of, you know, for want of a you know, for one of a horse, the battle was lost kind of thing, where I'm just like have to keep like, well, I need this to do this to do this to do this. I'm so very far off where I thought I was going to go tonight. I didn't, of course, you don't exactly know where Preston is gonna say, hey, this is the next settlement we're gonna send to. You never know that for sure, but I didn't expect that on top of this, a kidnapping. On top of that, you know, having to go this particular route, finding like having to go, and then now I'm going to go probably grab Taffington Boathouse. But the bugs are not that formidable. There's another gruesome tableau up there, but I'm going to avoid that for the moment because that's another story for another day. Oh, you know what it does? Oh, it gets me a frag mine. It's maybe not a bad thing. Not a bad thing to hang out here. Taffington Boathouse. I have kind of mixed feelings on Taffington as a settlement. It's in some ways it's pretty cool. It's got a decently sized area. It's got a good number of stuff. The bugs aren't particularly hard to take out.
You see that?
Yeah, the giant bugs, for sure.
You.
Boy, I'm sure I'm glad that we're down here.
Guess we showed them.
Well, I guess I don't get that, I guess I don't get that mine. They set it off. There's inside the building, a red widow blood bug, the most dangerous of all blood bugs. Just have to get in there and take it out. As you can see, Piper is somewhat more effective with the shotgun, which is welcome. We're quite happy for that. Oh, a red widow and a regular blood bug. Okay. Well, let's see if I can get them. No, I have no shot. I have no shot. Did you see that? Look at that. This, I'm telling you, folks. This is the enhanced AI at work. What's happening across there is another group of super mutants. I think we're relatively safe from those blood bugs. I can afford to take a peek. Yeah, look at that. There's a super mutant encampment up there. And they are in combat where somebody or something's going off. And they actually concern me for this settlement too, because with the enhanced AI, what really worries me is that they will detect this settlement and start taking shots at it with a fat man or something, some kind of heavy weapon. So before I settle people here, I kind of feel like I need to take that place out. I need to pacify get rid of the super mutants over there too. So again, it's just kind of one thing follows another thing follows another thing. Ugh. If you have ever had to deal with a mosquito in your room,
Shoot.
you know how bad this is. Go up there, kid.
Yep.
Oh, she's so terrible negotiating these stairs. Come on, kid. Oh, forget it, forget it. If I'm lucky, Piper will use that powerful shotgun to do some of this for me.
What can I do?
I want you. Get over there.
Of course. they go?
They're probably right behind you, kid. There we go. There we go. And as much as Piper is coated in grossness, we have taken him out. We have taken him out, which is absolutely terrific. And now we see, of course, the sad story of this particular settlement. Mary Sutton here. Or Margaret.
Now.
No, Mary Sutton with Margaret's note. Very, very sad. So the note basically tells us, if we look, pardon me, I have quite a few notes at this point, which I never seem to drop off. Mom, Russell has been gone for over a day now, and I'm getting worried. We were going to wait to tell you, but we found an old holotape from before the war in the boat shed. It sounded like someone had stashed some chems in the drainage at the end of the canal. Russell thought we might be able to sell them to one of the traders, maybe use the caps to buy another Brahmin. I'm sorry we didn't tell you, we just wanted it to be a surprise. But that's the second one of those bugs we've seen today, and I think something went wrong. So I'm going to go have a look for him. Don't worry, I'm just going to take a quick peek and I'll be back soon. So again, in typical sort of like... Fallout is not a horror movie game, or not a horror game, but boy, it feels like there's a lot of horror in the background of this game. Like there's some horrible, horrible stories of things that happen to these settlers. And so it sounds, you know, on the surface of it, that like these kids... There's another shotgun, look at that. Heavy combat shotgun. Does that do more damage than yours?
Point the way.
Oh no, mine does more. Ours does more damage. Okay, great. So they went looking for this thing, and it sounds like they released some blood bugs that were kind of captured underneath that couldn't get out. But they released them. The kid released them, and that's what happened. So obviously I'm not going to do a lot of development here right now. As I said, I'm very concerned that the super mutants will cause a problem for me, but I do want a decent bed to sleep in here. I think I can sleep. Can I sleep? I guess I can sleep a whole night in that bed. Maybe I don't need to build anything here. I think I can just sleep. You hear Travis in the background thanking me. Didn't help the Suttons, though. They're already gone. So again, we've saved. Again, just kind of a little caution save here. I have plenty of water on me. I got plenty of supplies. Maybe I don't know, folks. Maybe I'm just delaying the inevitable here. Maybe that's what I'm doing. I'm so terrified of this encounter. I'm just trying to come up with every kind of excuse to avoid it. I can't deny that that's in the back of my head somewhere. This, by the way, can I just remark, the grossest thing in the game. There's like, you see blood bugs feeding on Brahmin. You never see this sort of desiccated vampiric corpse like this anywhere else in the game, as far as I know. It just absolutely horrific. And like I said, there are little horror stories in this game all over the place of terrible things that happen to these people. What is that? Blood bug proboscis. I don't care about that. So we're going to go back here and we're going to see what is the status of things up by the old Medford Medical Center. It was a bit of a risk sleeping overnight, but I know that we're close now. We're close to the location. I know that the kidnapping timer is not so terrible that it's kind of an overnight thing. Interesting that it's a kidnapping by super mutants. Usually they don't do kidnapping. We take your sister. You'll pay up, or else. It doesn't seem like them, does it? They take you and they eat you. It's not what they don't hold you for ransom. We're super mutants. Who are they trading with? Why do they need caps? Maybe somebody does trade with them. Maybe, I don't know. Who knows? But yeah, so we will see how this works out. But yeah, it's just like this area of the map is just it is really just kind of one dangerous encounter after another. All of these places are very memorable to me, at least, as places that have caused me a whole lot of trouble. And in fact, now as I crest this hilltop, I'm remembering there are rad scorpions up here too. I could very easily get snuck up on by a rad scorpion if I'm not careful. I think I'm reasonably safe from that if I stick to this side of this clearing. But now I have to worry about synths, because there are somebody won that combat last night, early yesterday evening, and they're probably still here. Or maybe not. I don't. Well, they must be here somewhere. I think they just go up. They either go in the police station or they go. Oh, I think they go in that underground, the train station. I think that's where they go. Oh, well, you can see the suicider. Oh, actually, you know what? It just occurred to me that is actually not necessarily the case. That's not necessarily the case. They might have blown each other all up. That again being that suiciders are weird, man. They're freaking weird. I don't understand. I mean, I understand them from a game standpoint. They're a threat. I understand them from a lore standpoint. Even it's just like, super mutants are a little nuts. They have berserkers among them. I'm sure someone, saw the.
Better in our hands anyway.
I'm sure someone saw the two towers at one point. Saw the guy who was like charging with the torch to set off the bomb that that blew up the wall at Helm's Deep, and was like, that dude, we have to have a guy like that. There's the other. Yeah, I think they all bought it. But this is what I'm talking about here. They all bought it. He killed his own people. He killed everybody, including some raiders down here. I don't think were they even involved? I don't know.
Well, this place is something. All right.
It certainly is. So we're going to dump off. We do not need the Institute weaponry. We can dump that off. I just picked that up for the fusion cells. There's the other Superman. They all bought it out here. Okay. Whew. Okay. Just slaughter around here. Everywhere I go is slaughter. So here's the Medford Memorial Hospital. Now, here comes the question. Do I want to take Piper inside straight off the bat? I'm torn. This is why I'm torn. I gave Piper a pretty sweet weapon. It is also a pretty loud weapon. And it kind of negates the advantage of this, the stealth that I get from this. What do I want more? Do I want the backup of the shotgun? Speaking of which, I had to give her my shotgun shells just in case. I'll give her all my extra ammo, actually. Who knows? Who knows what she might pick up?
What you got for me?
Do I give her that or not? It's an interesting question. There she goes. What are you doing? Stop it! Stop trying to point. Don't try to point the gun at me. Ugh. Okay. Well, I think what we're going to do is I'm going to take a very brief hydration break, and then we will return to this very question. So we'll be let's pause on that for just a moment and consider it.